Now, I'm going to do a little experiment here, and I'm going to choose somebody because he's working with me next Monday, and he didn't know this was going to happen, and I didn't know this was going to happen until this morning when it came to me in those waking moments. Tony,
Yep.
I want you to come up here and just turn around so everybody can see you.
All right.
Now get out of the light.
Okay.
So right there, that's good. Now, you see yourself?
There I am.
Now I want you to think of something, think of a good thing that's happening in your life. All right?
Okay.
You have it?
Yep.
Now, without saying anything, just by showing facial expressions or body movements or whatever, look in this mirror and show us your response to that good thing that's happening.
This is me.
Is that it?
Yeah. I just...
Okay. Now, something that's very difficult. Think it's one of the most difficult things that's happening in your life right now.
Okay.
You have it?
Mm-hmm.
What's your response? It's not what I expected. Thank you. That's good. That's good. I guess that says he's working through it. He's steady. Now, before I even said the word steady, he's level. He's steady. He's steady. What would some others? What would you have done? What would you have said? Would you have been panicked? Would you have been stricken? Good things happen. Bad things happen. But I think it's something we need to think about. And then if we're struggling with something, gosh, when I go home today and I see so-and-so, and even myself, when I walk in to see my wife, is it going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? Or is it going to be whatever it's going to be when I see Hayden or whoever? Now, when I came on this little concept of inspiration, to breathe life into it, it got me hooked on the word definition, the definitions of words. So I'm talking about a profile of dynamic leadership. So I'm talking about a dynamic leader. And what's that mean? Dynamic means relating to physical force or energy. So to be dynamic is to do it with some force and do it with some energy. It doesn't have to be overbearing to blow people down, blow people away, though we do sometimes. Or it could be soft force. Relating to dynamics, marked usually by continuous and productive activity or change. I like the usually continuous and productive. It's like we don't have to be dynamic all the time. We can be even-keeled, steady, and just coasting. And we've got, one engineer in here.
Actually, I'm an English major.
Did you take dynamics in college?
No.
No. Well, dynamics is a course that deals with forces and motion. So if this is your big, huge, prickly thing that you're dealing with, what are you going to do to lift it? That's some of the things. I want to talk about specific things that can be done over this seminar that will help us all to get through lifting this huge, prickly object. And if we tried to pick that up, we would cut our hands. And there might be big things to do, smaller things to do, and all at different times and spacings throughout so that you can take care of business. Now, vibrant. Ride a wave to vibrant. What's vibrant mean? Vibrant means pulsating with life. I'd like to be vibrant, pulsate with life. Of course, a kind of pulsating that rubs off on people, that affects people, that inspires people in a positive way. Of course, we so often vibrate with negative things that turn people off. We all do that, and we've all been through that. Set in vibration, a sound as a result of vibration, a resonance. And I like this picture I found. A resonance. Listen, look at these musical notes that are being played that are just hitting the atmosphere and resonating. So what are we resonating? And I believe I got to think consciously about what am I doing right now? What am I resonating with? Whether it's here, at home, in my neighborhood, at work, or wherever. And what's the time frame on that? Where am I?
19 and a half minutes.
19 and a half. I'm not going to take this much farther. I'm going to show you here the 7 profile points which I've created. And these profile points came from 7 different sessions I've done that were 1-hour sessions at conferences And I took one point out of each session and created a profile of what I think a dynamic leader could look like. And I'm going to finish up with this. Transform yourself to success. And I wish I had more time today. But if you come to the free conference, I will give you some detail on this. How we can transform ourselves. Now, the one example I've already showed you, I transformed myself by creating a banner. And I work towards the end of that banner, which is my destiny. Reading leads to running, leads to speaking, leads to leading, leads to success, leads to destiny. Go for it, go for it, go for it all. Catch your way. And there's a lot of other things that can be done. Be, and we all know this, I think, be a lifelong learner. Charlie Tremendous Jones. Read, 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 read. What's that quote he says that I can never remember about the books?
Sing today.
You are the same today you'll be 5 years from now, except for the people you meet and the books you read.
And that's why I give away books. Be a focal point of influence. I got a neat picture that if you come to this conference, and this isn't a teaser, I just don't have the time to do it. It's a picture, but I have a whiteboard. Where did that marker go?
Right there, by there.
That might not be erasable. I'm not going to risk it. You are a focal point of influence. You need to think like it. You need to realize that I worked on the second floor of an office with a 3-story atrium, and the offices were out here, and the atrium was in the middle, and there was glass in the middle, and you could see from the first to the second and third floors. And I realized that before I met Doc Latin, who was our secretary, she worked up on the third floor. She saw me down on the second floor. She knew me before I knew her. Her boss knew me before I knew him. At the time, I had a mullet. He called me Beetle, was his nickname for me. Before I even knew him. Those words were spoken before I ever heard them, which told me I am a point of influence, whether I know it or not. Therefore, I can affect the people I work with alongside. I can affect the chancellor at the Office of State Justice and Higher Education. I can affect the facilities people. I affect people even when I don't know I affect people. Be a focal point of influence and think like it. Enter new territory. Don't be afraid to go to new places. That's part of my first session was do something different, literally do something different. I determined one day I took a walk at lunch every day, went out the door, turned left, went down the street, turned right, ran around Italian Lake, and back to and I did that over and over. I figured I needed to do, when I was thinking about do something different and writing this thing, I said, do something different. I went down an alley and saw the biggest tree in Harrisburg that I've ever seen in my life. This thing was huge. It was in some guy's little backyard. It was this big. And then I went down another street and I met a postman. My dad worked for the post office. He was a carrier supervisor, and I stopped and talked to this carrier supervisor, and I said something about postal workers, and my dad used to work for the post office. And what was interesting, this guy said to me, a stranger, he said, yeah, I wish we had some good leaders today. Why would he tell me that? Doing something different led to those, the simple thing of seeing a tree, which was great in my mind, to an important thing of touching some guy's heart and mind that I didn't even know. He must be struggling with some kind of leadership at his work. Enter new territory. It will do amazing things for you. Sustaining leadership through difficult times. We are in them. Thinking about how are we going to sustain ourselves in difficult times, and we're in them. Toastmasters is a sustaining influence in my life, as well as many other things. Whether it's internet items that give me inspiration. There's an amazing website, simpletruths.com. Look that up, simpletruths.com. Amazing 3-minute videos. I'm going to show one of those videos at the seminar. 3-minute video with sound and pictures, music. It's inspirational. Many little things, like I showed you on that fulcrum, many little forces coming down to lift up, and maybe it's not just one object, but it's a whole lot of objects in my own life to get me through. And develop effective relationships. Nothing's done without relationship. We all struggle with relationship. We have good relationships, we have difficult relationships, relationships that shouldn't be, but we need effective relationships. And I've created this practice collaborative independence. And I learned this from a situation I was in where people did not want to collaborate. And I said, if you don't collaborate, great things won't happen. Collaborate, yet keep your own identity, keep your own focus, yet you can still collaborate even with competitors, as Tony knows, as an engineering office. Bugard Horn surely collaborates with other engineers to get work, and yet they're competitors on some jobs. Collaborative independence. So there's the 7 profile points of a dynamic and effective leader. I hope this has given you something to think about. I hope I've breathed some life into you today. And if you can, come. You can pass these around. Come to the seminar. It's free. Spread the word. No cost. I know it's an afternoon. But I'll leave you to that. Remember, breathe life into people. Don't expire people, which might be sucked the life out of. But breathe life into people that you meet today.